What's up, everybody? I'm Mac from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is the cup test. No, actually, this is a review of Jackass Forever. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, I am a blind film critic, so this is definitely going to be an interesting one because this was a very interesting experience for me. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about what this is, although I think we all know what Jackass Forever is, and what the experience was like. So, just I suppose a little forward note about I'll just talk about the experience. You know what a Jackass movie is. So, I actually, before losing my vision, did get to see the first two Jackass films. I know I've seen them. The first one I remember liking, and it was still back in the day where it wasn't like 100% just trying to push the limits of the R rating and gross you out, and just tons of dicks and bodily fluid. That's almost entirely what Jackass is now. But it was still just filled with a lot of pranks, and I liked it. And I of course, have seen the TV show. I'm of the generation, if you look at my age, to be able to say that successfully on MTV. So, and then Jackass 2 came out, and I will say that there was a stunt within Jackass 2 that actually made me physically ill, and when I left the movie, I actually made me go lie down for a bit. But these films are Jackass films. They are what they are. They exactly promise something, and they deliver something. So you either know that Jackass is your thing or not. And if Jackass is not your thing and you go see Jackass, then that's on you. It's possible to have changing opinions over time because they've been around for so long, that maybe you realize that you're outgrowing Jackass. Sort of like how when I was a kid, I used to like the Care Bears, but I don't watch Care Bear cartoons anymore. You know, I mean, at some point you can outgrow things. So there is that realization. And I thought maybe perhaps because these guys were a little bit older and a little bit wiser, that we would get a different brand of Jackass. But no. They're almost entirely into just hurting each other's dicks and bodily fluids of human and animal, just as much as humanly possible. There are stunts in it which are fun, but I miss the Jackass humor sometimes where they used to just prank random people, and they used to get random people with things. That happens very little in Jackass Forever. It's such a small fraction. My favorite thing, the thing that I laughed the hardest about, was a scene and thing that actually involved pranking a real life person, because she's walking by and she's looking at him like he's crazy, and then something else happens. Like, they elevate the joke even further. Like, it's already funny and then they make it funnier. And that was my favorite thing, is getting this unsuspecting random lady and just that was funny. But it's a very interesting experience. So in Jackass Forever, they managed to get a lot of famous people. Of course, the Jackass crew, I guess, is famous, but there are a lot of people like Wee Man that didn't go on to try to break out into other things. It pretty much just Jackass. So but they've got like Machine Gun Kelly stops by for a visit, Eric Andre. So yeah, there's a bunch of little cameos, and then they have a couple of new Jackass members. They're trying to be really, I guess, forward thinking. So they have a female Jackass, Rachel, and yeah, they do their thing. I guess for me, I think I'm starting to outgrow Jackass, like on a personal level. I think either the stunts in the film are getting to be feel less and less stunt-like and more just like, just based around, honestly, just the penis, just their penises. There's so many things that they do to their genitalia in this movie. And there's so many bodily fluids of every kind, just all over the place. And that was one of the interesting experiences about viewing a Jackass film now as a blind person, is the visual aspect of this, the gross out humor doesn't translate. I actually kind of found it really funny when I ended up laughing more at the audio narration, and this woman who is amazing, God help her, and she's narrating this with the most straight tone she possibly can, and whoever wrote the narration for her is actually having her use terms like balls, so it's not even like it's like really proper, although I did hear testicles, I mean, I heard some more proper words, but she did also have to drop a few Jackass terms in there too. So it was a little bit of a mixed grab bag, but hearing her describe what's going on screen, saying things like semen and just, I don't know, it takes sort of a different element out of it and then puts a different element in. I felt like I was listening to a play-by-play of the world's weirdest game. Okay, and then there's pig semen, and I'm gonna be drinking it now. Okay, I don't know. It was really well done, but God love her for doing that. Because anyone else could have felt more invested, but it was her sort of just nonplussed attitude about what she was reading. I would be cracking up. I'd be like, what is, I don't know if audio description people can see the film that they're watching as they're describing it, but I would have a really hard time reading the narration without cracking up and being like, this is my script? You want me to read this? Yeah, it takes, and that's kind of the thing that I will say to my blind viewers is, having been on both sides of this, if you want to be a Jackass fan, you're totally missing stuff. You are missing out on the visual aspect because they're trying to get you. And it just does not have the same effect. Hearing that somebody is vomiting does not have the same effect as actually seeing somebody vomit. Hearing that somebody is drinking pig semen is not the same as actually seeing somebody drink pig semen or have pig semen dumped all over them. So, it does lose its effect. I don't know that even with the audio description, I appreciate that they tried to make this film as accessible to a blind audience, but based on the intent of what the Jackass crew are trying to do, that is lost on a blind audience. It just doesn't work. It ends up becoming sort of a completely different experience, and it's not the initial experience. It can still be an experience. You can have an experience with Jackass forever, and if you're fine with the experience that you get, that's cool. But unlike some of the other products out there, where we get audio description on them, and it feels like we are closing the gap between what a blind audience and a vision-enabled audience are getting to enjoy, this is very obvious to me that we are experiencing two totally different things. And I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if it is fixable, because this film centers itself around its ability to shock you and gross you out. And unless you are just shocked at the idea and concept of some of these things even being told to you, this film doesn't necessarily work the way it's intended. So, there's nothing really I can criticize. I thought the audio description really did the best job it possibly could, all things considered, for Jackass. This is not a film where you need to know what people look like or have a description of them, because how they look, how they dress, what they're wearing, unless they're actually specifically putting on a costume for some reason, doesn't really matter. So that element didn't really matter. It didn't really matter to me, entrances and exits and scenes, who was standing around. It mattered who was doing the stunt. So I didn't necessarily need to know who was watching the stunts. It was just who was performing the stunts. Sometimes they would mention, so-and-so was off to the side laughing, and it's like, all right, cool. But you're really just sort of focused on the stunt and trying to understand the totality of what that is. So anyway, so that's the audio description and the blind perspective on that. I just don't think it works. It didn't really work for me. Of course, I'm also getting older. It's been a long time since the last time I've watched a Jackass film. It was kind of like, it was a little bit of a comfort thing to see them coming back, just the concept, which is why I watched it in the first place. After not liking Jackass 2, I was like, man, it's been forever. We've had such a rough time with the pandemic, and I haven't seen anything like Jackass in a while. Maybe we just need Jackass, maybe Jackass is the hero we need right now, the hero we deserve. It just didn't work for me. But it has a lot to do with the vision thing, and I think me just growing up and some of the humor just doesn't land anymore. So yeah, I don't know how to grade this. I thought about, I want to say specifically to those watching it that if you're looking for a Jackass film, this is a Jackass film. It successfully completes itself as a Jackass film. It is from beginning to end a Jackass film. So in many regards, I could give it an A for successfully being what it is supposed to be and delivering on its promise. It does exactly what it sells itself as. So if you're a fan, you will like this film. If you're a huge fan, you'll like this film. If you're growing out of it, maybe a little bit, growing up a little bit, maybe you won't. So you'll have a different opinion of it. And then on top of that, if you're also blind since the last Jackass movie, you might even enjoy it a little less. So trying to put this on a scale to give it a grade, to walk away from it, I'm going to give Jackass Forever a C+. On a side note, fuck you very much, Paramount Plus. That's with the streaming service currently hosting Jackass Forever, because I was ripped out of the outtakes. It decided I didn't need to watch the outtakes, and it was going to take me into the next suggested product for me. It just literally ended. I was in the outtakes. So I didn't even get to, I've been trying to get to who describes the movie, what company it's from, and I didn't even get out of the outtakes into the credits. So not only did I not get to watch the credits, but we were mid outtakes when we transitioned out of this film. So I presume that there are more outtakes. So not cool, because most people consider outtakes to still be something they want to watch in the movie and not credits. As somebody who worked in movie theaters for years, I can tell you when outtakes play, the audience typically doesn't get up to leave. It's when the screen goes black and and just text rolls, credits. That's when people tend to get up and leave. They don't leave for outtakes. So if outtakes run the whole movie and you scroll the credits to the side, it's a great way to get people to stick through the credits, actually. But anyway, that's just a small note. Paramount ripped me out. I didn't get to watch the outtakes, so screw them. So if you want more of me, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can head on over to macthemovieguy.com and check out more of my reviews. Also, don't forget that you can also use the audio description project to check out and plan your movie night. They have a list of movies over there that are audio described. It's sort of a running list, a little bit like a database, like IMDb. So you're going to want to find out what's got audio description. You can check out and see what on Paramount Plus has audio description, and plan a movie night. You can watch Jackass forever and then something else and have a, double feature. So check them out, and I will see you next time.